Hey everyone, my name is Sean McConnell, and in this video I'm showing you how I mount my boots to my bindings and then my bindings to my snowboard. So stick around, see if we got the same setup. Alright, so obviously you're going to need your gear, so make sure you have your boots, your bindings, your deck, also for when we get to it, your discs and everything else that's included in your bindings. And we'll go from there. We'll bring it in closer so you can see how we align everything up to make sure that you've got minimal toe and heel drag. So we'll go for there. First off, let's unwrap this baby. So I'll split up here. Grab this. This. There we go. Good stuff. Alright. So, a little bit about the board. This is a 162 wide Salomon Craft. They label it as a true twin all-mountain freestyle board. Got a lot of flex, a lot of features that I was interested in, and there's another video about this deck that I go into, but you can link to that one, or I'll link to this one in the cards above. Anyways, we got this open. Let's get it all set up. Okay, so before we begin, the first thing we want to do is we want to get our boots into the bindings and adjust the straps and the toe straps and make sure that everything fits in perfectly and that you get a nice even pressure or even distribution of the pad and the strap and the toe strap around both areas. So this binding is the Salomon trigger binding, and the boots that I'm matching that up to for this season are the DC double boa snowboard boots. So what you want to do is you want to actually tighten it up just snug enough that it's almost mimicking that you're in your boot. So then that way, binding, let's put that in. Twist. Stand it. That in a little bit tighter. Okay. So then the first thing we want to do is we want to get the boot into and all the way back into the heel cup as possible and press down. Now, what I need to say first about these bindings is that they do have this blaster tech, which helps jibbing a little bit more flexibility, absorbs harsh landings, and allows a little bit of articulation in the ankle a little bit in order to recover. What we do not have, unfortunately, and I knew about this, is the heel cup adjustment to bring this inwards. So to bring this heel more towards the center of the heel, the discs, and towards the toe, so you can even that up. So, as you can see, we'll start with the toe strap out of the box. If we were to just plug and play, we can see that we do have fairly good coverage of the toe cup over the toe, just above the foam lining of the boot. And if we tighten this in, I'm going to bring this back out because one thing that I can tell is that the boot is actually on top of the binding and not actually in. So we're going to have to work that in a little bit. So now we've got that in. I have to pay attention to that when we're on the hill. And we'll strap this in. And as you can see, the footbed here, there's a lot of toe hang. So what we can do is we're going to pull this out a little bit, and that adjustment will help to reduce that toe drag, and we can get a little bit more engagement into our toe edge. Now, that said, looking at the actual, now if we were to cut this off and this off, but to look at the actual cup of the toe, we can see that everything is almost perfect right out of the box. And we've got about 1, 2, 3, 4 teeth on the ladder, which from what I've seen online and read, that's actually ideal where you want to have it. So out of the box, toe strap is excellent. So we'll unengage that, pull this out. Now, to adjust the footbed, put this behind. To adjust the footbed, there's a little tab here in which this tab plugs into here. We've got 3 different basically levels of adjustment that we can do. We're probably going to be pushing this out to the far end. Now, it does say to press on these 2 buttons here. Now, they're not so much buttons, but what I found is just a firm grip and pulling, probably 2 fingers, pull that out. That is at the 3rd adjustment. You've got 1, 2, and now on the 3rd adjustment. So this is going to be on the widest adjustment, and then we just plug that back in. Now we'll get our boot, put it back in, all the way to the back, plug in the toe strap here, make sure that the toe is still cupped the same way, but now you can see that with the extension there's less hang over the boot, meaning we get more engagement when we dip down into our toe edge and articulate that way. So now we'll have to address the heel hang and the angle at which, but we can do that with our discs, which we'll do when we mount these up. So now moving on to the main strap. With the Salomon trigger and with a lot of the Salomon line, you have micro adjustability, so we can unscrew the strap, do a little bit more, and we can pull that out, and we can just kind of loosely gauge where the middle ground is going to be on this one, so we don't want that to be too. Get that nice and tight, and you'll feel it click on kind of the last one. That's when you know you've kind of put it in just enough to get it tight so that it won't be adjusting on you when you're out. So again, you got good coverage over the top. Now, kind of a reference point is you want to have the Salomon kind of embossed logo here, kind of directly on the center of your laces or your boa lace, depending on what kind of boot you have. And then we'll just tighten that up. And again, there we go. A fully set up boot and binding setup. Now, we can adjust the high backs. I'm probably going to ride with these a little bit just the way they are, just to get an ideal or a sense of what these ride like. Again, we can adjust the high back and kind of add a little bit more heel angle. So if we want to push that forward, so that way when we're leaning back, we get that immediate engagement of our edges. Now, if you were riding, or if you're riding all mountain, if you're just doing groomers and stuff like that, typically you want that quick engagement if you're going through moguls and whatnot. So we can adjust that high back to have a little bit more angle, so that when you lean back into your heel edge, you really get that engagement and you can really dig into that. So if you're freestyle oriented or you got smaller runs, you're not going to really want that too aggressive. So I'm just going to keep it out of the box, see how it runs. If I need changes, the good thing is we can just undo this, move it up and down as needed, plug it, and then we're good. So this is perfect for on-hill adjustment. Same with any other of the adjustments. These two are perfect for on-hill adjustments if there's anything that needs to be done. So let's get these two lined up onto the board. Okay, so now looking down at the board, what we're going to do is we're going to just kind of decipher where and what our reference point is. So from the factory, those two white X's in the hole pattern are the actual factory default kind of reference point for the size of your board. So this is a 162, and that is going to be probably perfect enough just for me. It just depends on how comfortable you are with a wide stance. So what I typically like to do is I'll step on the board, I'll try and aim for the X's to be in the middle of my foot to make sure that there's little toe or heel drag. And what I'll do is I'll squat up and down, mimicking as if you're kind of saving from a bad landing, or if you just kind of wash out and you're trying to spring back up. So just kind of go 1 foot on, 1 foot on as we look down, and we kind of look at the angle of what is comfortable. You just kind of stand on, bend your knees a little bit, and then you just kind of want to squat down, and then just kind of stay here for a second, see if that feels comfortable, if there's any pain in your knees or in your ankles, or if it just feels a little bit. Sometimes you want to go on your toe edge and your heel edge, lift your toes up, lift your heels up, and then come back up. And if you can, take a picture and just kind of use that as a reference in terms of how you want your bindings and your boots to look. Okay, so now we've got the disc in, and if you can see, hopefully because of the light, there we go, we've got it currently, if you have it there, you're at 0 degrees. Now we probably want to have probably about 15, maybe more. We'll just set that on the board and kind of see how that looks. Okay, so that would be 15, almost a little duck stance. And that'll probably be good. Now I'm noticing too that with that, the actual high back is parallel to the edge of the board. Now what I'm also noticing too is that this is my toe edge, so I should be using this on that side. So that'll go like this one, and then we'll be bringing this one in over there. So a little bit of mix up, but that's how you learn. Okay, so we've got both of these set up now, and if we raise up that foot bib, getting in here, we can see that along that line, the line on the white part of the binding is matching up with the 15 on the disc. So we're at a -15 kind of offset. So we're kind of going ducky. So we'll put this down, clip that in back there, and we are now set up. So what I like to do is just strap in, do a couple nose presses, tail presses, just kind of see how the board feels. Go from there, make sure that all the bindings bolts are secure and that the binding straps are also strapped in, because it's better to have that happen here than when you are out on the hill, and that would cause a lot less damage. So let's do that now. Okay, boots are on, test fit. We'll give it, we'll strap in, give it a roll. Nope, see, there's a problem right there already. I'm moving my foot side to side, and that is loose. Let's see about this one. Nope, that one is secure. So let's tighten that up. Okay, so we tighten that back up. Let's see what we're good with now. Step in, side to side motion, none. Good. Toe strap in. Toe strap. Feeling nice and cushy. That's good. Okay. Toe strap. Now I'm seeing on this I might want to move this a little bit that way, but we'll check. We'll see that in a little bit. Okay, so standing up and kind of bending down, and feels good. Does feel a little bit wider, or I shouldn't say wider, but a little bit more ducky than I'm used to. Again, board is nice and light. Oh, wow. Very easy for presses. I mean, I'm just lifting my foot up. And it's going to really flex. That's some good torsional flex. Let's do that. Boom. And boom. Yeah, she's light. Whew. Toe, heel. Yep. Punch it at 180. Nice and stable landing. Do front side. Oh, not bad, not bad. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh. Yeah, this board is gonna really perform well. Man, it's soft though. So makes me a little worried about landing not in the bolts and washing out, but again, we'll have to do some on-mountain testing. Alright, thanks for watching this video. If you can, now that I'm out of breath, please subscribe or help out through the PayPal link on the main page and in the description below. Appreciate it. Have a good day and happy riding.